What is happening, and welcome to another four-wheel drive talk episode. And friends, this is going to be a little bit different type of video than I've typically pushed out or shared with you folks. You see, a few months ago, I headed out to Texas to meet up with the crew with BTR Outfitters to learn more about the company and also explore some pretty cool products that the company sells. Now, to give some context here, a number of years back, I read a book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Now, the basic premise of the book is to ask questions like, why are some people and organizations more innovative, more influential, and more profitable than others? Why do some command greater loyalty with their customers and employees alike? Even among the successful, why are so few able to repeat their success over and over again? Now, the book really sparked my curiosity about why people start businesses and informed my decision to head out to Texas to interview the Hanner family about why they started a company in the overlanding niche after being in the car business for over 50 years, and the RV industry for over 15 years. But while I was there, tragedy struck. A massive fire broke out at the company's headquarters and destroyed a ton of their inventory. Strangely enough, the fire taught me as much about the people behind BTR Outfitters as my interviews with the family as well. Now, in today's video, I want to pull back the curtain on that trip and show you how important it is to know the people behind the products. So join me on my journey to Texas, learn more about this incredible family and their company, and at the end of the video, watch the full interview with the Hanners to learn even more about their why. But first, friends, before we go diving into this video, as you can imagine, putting videos like this together require a lot of time, a lot of, as you can imagine here, traveling to make this video possible. And really, at the end of the day, my loyalty is with each one of you. You see, I want each one of you to have whether you're going out there buying a tire, a tent, a mat, a topper for your truck, I want you to have the best experience possible. You have the best experience possible, that's going to pay dividends and where you can enjoy the overlanding off-roading industry to a much greater extent. So again, if you find some value with this video, you would be doing me an immense favor by crushing that like button down below. It really does help a lot. That said, friends, as a small token of my gratitude for that, should any of you have any questions, whether you ask them down below this video or you ask them on our contact us form on 4-Wheel Drive Talk, I will do my best to personally answer each and every one of your questions. That said, pull up a seat and hey friend, it's time. Let's go. Now, my trip out to BTR Outfitters started like pretty much any other trip to meet up with fellow enthusiasts. I hopped on a plane and flew out to Texas, and when I landed, I was pleasantly surprised to see that they set me up with a Jeep Gladiator Mojave Edition as my loaner vehicle, which is my personal vehicle. Well, actually, technically mine's a Rubicon, but same thing. It was a fun truck to drive. So I drove the Gladiator to BTR Outfitters headquarters and had introductions with the team who immediately struck me as incredibly warm, genuine, gregarious people. And then we took a peek at several tax outdoor trailers that they had there, which the game plan was to use these as an overnight camping adventure at the family ranch. Then tragedy struck. Now, while I was in the field filming footage of the tax outdoor trailers, Brody, one of the BTR team, who also happens to be a volunteer firefighter, he left in a hurry. Now, the next thing I know, I'm being told that BTR Outfitters is on fire. I mean, I'll tell you now that nobody was hurt in the fire. We didn't know this at the time, but a compressor behind the welding shop sparked and it ignited a fire that engulfed the building. From there, the fire spread to 2 other structures on the property, destroying all 3. Not only were there 3 buildings a total loss, but there was also a tremendous amount of inventory inside these buildings. Needless to say, it was a tragedy of immense proportions with significant financial implications. Yet, the BTR Outfitters team responded with grace, positive attitudes, and hopefulness of the future. Now, remember, these folks impressed me from the get-go, but in the face of truly awful event, their responses proved even further that they are precisely the kind of people that I want to work with and precisely the kind of people that deserve my trust as a customer. Now, despite the disruption at the company headquarters, the company's owners wanted to continue with the visit, and at the conclusion of the full day of testing the tax auditor trailers at the family ranch, I was invited to the owner's home for dinner. Now, being completely transparent here, when I got there, I expected some level of emotional heaviness to be present. I mean, it was really a tough day to say the least. But when I arrived, I walked into a pretty dang jovial group of folks. Everyone appeared to be in good spirits, and I enjoyed an evening with the family and their friends, including people from their church and even missionaries who were over from Ukraine. The kindness that the family showed me and other guests was truly inspiring. Again, they just lost an enormous part of their business to an accident, yet here they were welcoming me and a bunch of other people in their home, feeding and entertaining us. Now, throughout the evening, I enjoyed speaking with various people. I especially enjoyed talking to Mr. Hanner, who is the father of the family, who is also one of the company's 4 owners. Friends, I was so impressed with his attitude about the fire, which might be summed up as, hey, well, this can be replaced. It was truly inspiring to say the least. Now, at the time, I didn't fully understand how the family could handle such terrible tragedy so gracefully, but then I learned that the family has faced adversity before, much more serious adversity as well. Now, here's the thing. As I got to know the Hanner family more and more, I learned that Hunter, who is one of the sons of the family and one of the company's co-owners, has had to deal with not just one, but 2 rare health conditions over the years. Now, as a 2-year-old, Hunter was diagnosed with a rare condition that caused his immune system to malfunction, which left his tiny body open to infections. And at the time, friends, he was only about the 100th person on this planet to have this particular diagnosis. Now, the situation was so dire that Hunter's doctor said that he wouldn't live past the age of 7 years old. That was 1984. Needless to say, he beat the odds. Now, Hunter overcame these adversity, but in 2014, another situation arose. Hunter developed a paralyzing disease known as AIDP. Now, this causes rapid weakness of the limbs in response to an infection. So, as it turns out, Hunter's body began attacking his blood cells a little more than a month after the much-needed bone marrow transplant. What followed were months of struggles in the hospital, and at one point, the situation was so severe that Hunter was on a ventilator, unable to breathe and totally paralyzed. The only way that he could communicate was to blink with his eyes, once for yes and 2 for no. But miraculously, Hunter persevered. He left the hospital and faced months and months of recovery, during which he learned how to walk and move again. Today, Hunter is a healthy father of 4, true example of what it means to fight, believe, and persevere. So, the way that the Hanner family responded to the fire, learning this, it is not surprising after I learned about their story. It gives context to why the Hanners approached the fire tragedy with such great attitudes. This is legitimately no big deal compared to what they've gone through in the past. Now, unlike human life, everything in these 3 buildings can be replaced. It's that perspective that speaks volumes about this family's why. The overarching lesson that I learned with my time with the Hanners is that there is value in understanding the people behind a company. Now, think about this. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of businesses selling overlanding products in the U.S. Many of these items you can purchase from BTR Outfitters are available with these other companies, but not all companies have the same dedication to doing what is ethically and morally right. Not all business owners are driven by faith. Building trust and ensuring each customer is taken care of in the right way. BTR Outfitters embodies all of these, and it's not just the wide product selection that the company's offered, it's the service before, during, and after the sale that makes BTR Outfitters so darn special. Now, overlanding gear, let's be real here, is not cheap. And when you're plunking down your hard-earned cash, you want to know that the people you buy gear from will be there every step of the way to ensure that you have a good experience. Kind of what I was mentioning earlier on. No product is completely immune of having the occasional issues. So this really boils down to, who am I dealing with? Now, friends, I've been building online brands for 26 years and have always fancied myself of being a people person. So On my way out to Texas, I knew I was dealing with good people who care about their customers. But during my time there, though, I learned how incredible the Hanners and their team truly are. I found them to be inspiring not only from a business standpoint, but also in a greater sense, I found them to be even more inspiring as a fellow human being. But don't take my word for it. Learn more about the Hanners and their why in the following interview. Alrighty, so we are here with the Hanners, and this is quite a big family. You got so this is a family-run business, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Holy smokes! Family-run, as many of you guys know, I've always been a softie for a couple types of businesses. One being a military or veteran-run base, and also family-run businesses. Family-run businesses, as you guys, I'm sure, are well aware of, I think have a much more vested interest in the client satisfaction and just the overall experience that they have. Would you agree?
We would agree.
Unanimous.
So I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedules to come down and join us here. If we can, for the audience here, can we kind of go around and introduce everybody?
Absolutely. My name is Chase. Born and raised in Abilene in this area, and I've been a part of the business since I was 12 years old, so been here a while.
Wow.
And I'm Hunter Hanner, Chase's brother. We've grown up together, best buddies growing up, work every day together, so it's a lot of fun.
I'm Janet Hanner, and these are my sons and my husband, and I love working as a family. I love every day that I get to come in and see them, and we got married in 1980, so I've been our controller since then.
Holy smokes. Now, are you from this area as well?
No, I was raised on a ranch in Montana and was raised going tent camping and cooking over a fire, so.
You're a product of the product.
A product of the product.
I'm Mark, and been around a while.
Been around for. Now, where are you originally from?
I grew up in the Texas Panhandle. We moved into this area, in the Abilene area, Baird, when 1975. The dealership was started in 1974, so we've been around.
Well, friends, we're here to talk about BTR Outfitters, and so for the people watching this video who might not be familiar with who you guys are, let's start off with the basics. What is BTR Outfitters?
BTR Outfitters is an idea that started probably close to 3 years ago now, but to fit, there's a need that's unmet in this part of the world. I mean, really in the south central U.S., but especially Texas, a place to go for the guy that wants some way to enjoy the outdoors, and we want to be that spot. If their idea of enjoying the outdoors is buying a tent and sleeping on the ground, great. If it's I'm in a car camp, great. We'll help you figure that out. All the way up to the towables, camper vans, but however you want to enjoy the outdoors, that's the goal of BTR Outfitters, is to help you figure out and meet that need. And we know needs change. The guy might start in a tent and he might come back in a few years and say, look, I'm tired of on the ground, I want a rooftop tent or I want a towable. But we want to be that store in this part of the world that can meet that need for the people that just want to enjoy the outdoors, and that may be hunting and fishing, hiking, biking, you name it. But
so as somebody that comes in, and we see this a lot over the course of the last few years, a lot of people are getting into camping and they're not quite sure whether they're going to like it, and they may start off with a rooftop tent, with a ground tent or something with a more of a budget set in mind. And they get out there, and it's kind of evolution, we can say. They get out there and really start getting a liking to what's taking place, and so now they start getting more involved in it. So you folks are allowing them to come in from A to Z, because that's one of the questions I'm going to be asking here in a bit with regards to the products. I know you guys have a certain pedigree of products on the site, and so I think you just answered quite a bit of it. So you have products that will allow people to kind of grow into wherever they are, wherever that journey is going to take them into overlanding, camping, and so forth. while on topic of this, let's have a little fun here. If you watched any of my interviews, you guys know I love to jump into what we call the Wayback Machine, and we're going to do that right now. So let's jump into the Wayback Machine. Let's go back to the very morning that you decided, hey, BTR Outfitters, this is a really good idea. What was the original inspiration for firing this up?
I don't know as far as like the day, because there was a lot of daydreaming as far as sitting in each other's offices. And I mean, we've got years of experience in the more mainstream towable RV stuff, and I mean that's where I was going to say, I mean, you can kind of chip in even with kind of how we're trying to set this up to meet the different needs of people regardless of how they want to do it. I mean, you see that every day at the RV
We've been in the
store,
RV business a long time.
Yeah.
But it's different for the person who's buying a big fifth wheel to go to a super nice resort, have all their amenities, versus the person who wants to truly go, I want to go to the top of the Rocky Mountains. I want to go to the sand dunes. I want to be by myself and no one else. And if you try to go, what was the day? Well, I would say it's more of a lifetime of us growing up in the outdoors. That's where we find our passion, our love, the memories we have. And it's more of an upbringing of, we enjoy this. Can we help other people get into the outdoors? Other people realize
we see it. We've seen it personally that if you want to get into this space, there's not options in this part of the world to go. And if you do, you've got to go. There might be a guy that's very specific on upfitting your vehicle if you want to do the truck camping, truck topper, but that's all they do. And so I don't know if I go there, and then I might have to go look at a towable over here, and then the camper vans, I don't even where you'd go look. I mean, that's extremely hard to find. And so from, I mean, firsthand experience, as a buyer, you're going, there's nowhere to look at this stuff, touch it, feel it, get product expertise from somebody that can coach you, because I mean, a lot of it can be overwhelming with the number of options. But I mean, about 3 years ago, we started having lots of conversations in his office of seeing this unmet need, and we're knowing, okay, we've got the RV store that caters to the crowd that likes to go to a campground, but we're going, man, there's a lot of people asking, researching in Texas, this part of the world, and there's nowhere to get it. So man, could we make this work? And that's when the brainstorming started. And I mean, you probably remember lots of those conversations.
Yeah, I mean, and it just evolves. And Hunter, he'd spend a lot of time just kind of researching, and even looking for a product himself, going, okay, I'm kind of wanting to go off the grid on some of this stuff, and just kept bringing up the conversations, and you're going, man, so.
And then you started making some phone calls, because you're like, okay, we kind of were all on board with, man, I think we could make this work. There's enough interest in this type camping that's unmet in this part of the world. So you start making some phone calls. You're going, man, well, if we did it, we want to make sure we can get the good product. So you start making some phone calls to some of these different manufacturers that you're like, that's one of the best, if not the best, in that segment. So you call them, and after 2 or 3 of those phone calls, because you'd call them and they were like, oh yeah, we would love to have someone in Texas. We have people call us all the time, but there's no one out there selling our stuff. And they're like, yeah, we'd sign you up, I think. And so you started getting the affirmation even from guys that had been in it for a long time. I mean, these manufacturers, and they're going, yeah, no, we would love to have someone in Texas. And so that's when you started really putting the business plan together, going, okay, let's figure out how we do this.
So you guys are coming into the industry, so I'm sure you're well aware there's quite a handful of other brands out there located all over the U.S. So to help the audience understand a little bit about who you folks are, how do you feel BTR Outfitters is different from some of the other noise out in the marketplace?
I mean, one of the things, and we're going to try and differentiate ourselves, whether it's Better Outfitters, whether it's the Chevy GMC store, or whether it's the more OEM towable store, is we want to offer a customer experience that is second to none. And that's what we've
Absolutely.
stood for as a family. I mean, we watched it from him growing up. He watched it from his dad growing up. And it's filtered out into all the employees. And if you offer that, people will drive. I mean, we sell vehicles, RVs all over the state. Y'all sell
All over the country.
Yeah, y'all sell RVs all over the country, people driving in.
You're selling a product that, I mean, it's unique. I mean, with the BTR, even our other stuff, they're some of the stuff as far as you're talking about trucks and bigger RVs and stuff. I mean, it's a big ticket item. It's not just go to the convenience store and get a gallon of milk. I mean, it's, it's something that people put, I mean, a lot of resources into and time, and they'll drive. And especially if they know, man, I'm going to a place that's going to have it and it's going to be a great experience. And I mean, in the small town you're going to see that we're in, I mean, we take care of them really well, but it's a small town and we're a pretty sizable operation, and we know that, man, people will drive great distances to get what they're looking for and be treated really well. That's what we want to do.
And then the other thing that's unique with Better Outfitters is, because I mean, we research our competition and see what our competition's doing, and we don't want to pigeonhole into one segment that caters to a certain budget and a certain type. We want to be that inclusive, like, if you want to get into the outdoors, we want to help you get there, whether your budget's here or whether your budget's here. We want to try and figure out something that meets your needs, but we're also, even if your budget's here, we're not going to sell product that's junk, because we feel our name stands behind, whether it's a new vehicle, whether it's a towable RV or something from Better Outfitters. Like, we feel our names on the line. I don't want to sell you something that in 2 months you're calling me going, this, whatever you sold me, it's broke, I got ripped off. No, we don't want that. So we've been very selective on the products we pick. No, these are reputable brands that have strong quality standards, and that's what we want to do.
And I'd also add that a lot of our business is built on repeat business. So when we have you come in, we're not thinking, what can we make the most money on and do because that's not what we're interested in. We want you to have this great experience where you tell all your friends, or the next time you want something, you go, I'm going back to BTR, I'm going back to Better Outfitters, because they took care of me, they treated me, they cared about me, what I wanted. It wasn't about what they were trying to get rid of that day. And we have the RV and the car business, our repeat business is what's kept us going.
So I'm going to circle back around on the product, your choice of products here in a moment, but there's a question that's kind of circling around right now. So when you pointed out him and his father, so this is a 3-generation business?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, so let's have a little fun with this. You guys have the Chevy dealership, you have the RV dealership. How old are each of these been around?
The car dealership was started in 1974. So we're nearly, I mean, this is our 49th year, looking forward to 50, next year. And then got into the RV business about, around 20 years ago. And
So that said, so when you talk about one of the earlier questions, I asked, how do you guys separate yourself from some of the other noise out there? A lot of these other, in my head, I'm thinking, well, geez, okay, you're a family-run operation. That's one. That's a big ticket item right there, in my opinion. And then the other one right here is just from a seniority standpoint, because 20 years, 49-ish years for the dealership. How do you guys feel this time has armed you with coming into Better Outfitters?
I think experience is key for BTR, just because we've got the experience of automotive RV over I mean, you could go, if you look around here, there's probably 100 years of experience combined that can help set the direction of customer service, the culture, the employees, that it all is going to revolve around the customer's experience. In the end is making sure we use our best habits from what we've had success with in the automotive and RV industry, and then combine that for an off the grid camping experience for.
And whereas BTR, it is a new business. It does not have a huge staff at this point, but we have the advantage of the experience in the other two industries. I mean, we've got 90 plus employees. We've got technicians that do truck upfits all day long. We've got technicians that work on RVs and water heaters and all of those kind of components all day long. We've got the auto mechanics that are used to fixing automotive type problems. And so BTR Outfitters has the ability to take advantage and use all of these other employees that don't technically work for BTR Outfitters, but they're all it's a big family. Yeah, I mean, and that's all of our stores sit right beside each other. And so everyone knows everybody. And that's one of yes, you're a startup, but you are a startup with tons of resources and experience on the things that can take care of a customer, because stuff does break, stuff happens, I need help installing this. Man, you've got help everywhere and lots of experience.
You know, it's funny that you bring it up. As I'm coming into your store location this morning, I don't know where things are around, and I ended up, there's the RV side of it there, so I figured, hey, this is a safe bet. Not only were there, I have no idea what inventory you guys have there, but there's a ton of RVs over there. But every person, you know, you're talking about people kind of working in together in the symmetry, shall we say there. I was asking a few people, how do I find, where's the office for BTR Outfitters, and so friendly and so helpful. But I was amazed with, holy smoke, there's a lot of RVs you guys got floating around there. But let's circle around to the product question. So a moment ago, you're talking about the types of products that you guys have there. And when I originally became aware of BTR Outfitters, that's one of the first things that I noticed. Now, I've been in the industry for a while, and I know, if you know some of the other noise out there, some of the other the shops, that retailers and so forth, they have a lot of fluff. A lot of the fluff that are just from a quality standpoint, these are not products that personally I would put my name behind, but they offer these to their clients because they can make money off of them, make money off these sort of products. On your site, one of the first things I really admired is like, wow, you guys really have, it's all top shelf gear on there, and that's one of the things that really stood out. I've not seen any retailer like what you guys are doing. So the question I have here is, what went into the process for selecting these products and gear that you guys are offering?
Lots and lots of research. And some of it was from, I'm a gearhead. My family loves the type camping we like to do is more the off-grid. We want to be able to go where we want to go. We're not the, hey, let's pick the big fancy campground. That's not the type camping we like to do. And so I've had the personal journey of trying to figure out, I've got 4 kids, so there's 6 of us camping. Well, that limits some of your options when you're trying to sleep 6 people. So we've been down this rabbit hole as a family trying to figure out what was the best option for us. And as I'm researching, at that same time, we're starting to talk about the business and, hey, would this work? And so I spent countless hours at night. I'd be home, and I've had some health issues, so I have a lot of nights where there's little sleep but lots of phone time. You can research stuff on your phone, and you're just looking at all the different kind of segments of products, from camper vans to towables to truck campers to truck toppers to tents, rooftop tents. I mean, I just would, okay, what's the offerings? What are people saying about this brand? What are people saying about this brand? And so you started figuring out, that's the really good one in that segment. That's the really good one in that segment. And so as you started researching, and that's when some of these phone calls, like we were talking about, you started going, okay, I'm going to call AT and see if we could pick up the AT line. And you call them, we're talking to Mario, and he's pumped. He's like, oh yeah, he said, we would love a Texas dealer. And you're like, well, man, that's a hammer of a truck topper, so that's a good sign. And so then you make a couple more phone calls, and you're calling Taxa and saying, hey, here's what we're doing, here's our business model. Like, man, I think taxes would kill it in that environment, because taxes are enough different from like your standard RV store that staff that's used to dealing with the customer that wants to camp in a campground, they're not as used to dealing with the customer that doesn't want to camp in a campground. And so they love the business model. And so you started, and some of it's because Texas is so underserved and the South Central United States is underserved. So we were blessed that you could call these brands, and because there wasn't one already down the street, they were as excited as we were. And so we were able to be very selective on what products we picked up and put our name behind and said, look, this is good stuff. But yeah, it was phone calls and research and lots of it. And because there's not stuff to look at in this part of the world, it was researching it online is what most of it.
Well, you guys hit a home run again. When you look at the concentration of the products that you guys have on there, it's quite impressive. So, kudos to you guys. So we have one final question here. Normally, I like to ask this bit of a hot seat question to an individual, but I have four. This is a family-run business, so we're going to do something a little different here. So, usually the final question I like to ask is something like this: is what is the one single word that you feel best describes, in this case, BTR Outfitters? So I have all four of you here, so we're gonna have a little fun. So Chase, we'll start with you. The one word that you feel, the one single word that you feel best describes BTR Outfitters.
I would say specialized, from the product that we're going to be selling to the people who are going to be taking care of the customers, that everybody knows their job and they know it very well as the manufacturers we're using know how to build the product well. And it's very geared toward this off-grid, off-road camping segment that we're going to be able to serve people with excellence.
I'm going to use a hyphen where it keeps it one word. Adventure enabling, or adventure, but I mean that's how I see it, is how do we get people where they can enjoy the outdoors.
I love the use of the hyphen, and it works really well.
I'm going to say everyone. We have something for everyone, and everyone's invited to come be a part of it. There's no limit on if you're wanting to get in down here, you want to get in up here, and all the way in between. And so we want everyone to have a good time, and that's...
Man. Unique. It's a very unique store. I mean, if you're the outdoor guys, you want to do this, it's the place.
And as we wrap up this video, I couldn't resist delving deeper into the inner workings of this company. I had the opportunity to speak with several employees and was generally impressed with their responses to the questions that I asked. So I'd like to share with you some of those enlightening answers with you now.
I like that there's an expectation to treat people well and do good things. In a lot of companies, like making money, the bottom line is the most important thing, but I know if I have to choose between making money and treating somebody well, I'm supposed to pick treating people well, and I really like that.
I like how hands-on they are with everybody. The handlers are always out trying to help, and it's a super laid-back environment. As long as you're doing your job and getting everything done every day, it's pretty nice and just easy going job.
The fact that the owners will get in and get just as dirty as the employees. They won't ask you to do something that they won't do.
Growing.
I would have to say opportunities.
I would have to say loyal.
All right, friends, and there you go. As promised, this was a much different video than I've typically done on this channel. But after seeing this family and seeing this company and seeing the mechanics and the why behind it, yeah, this was one of those videos I really, again, I was out there 3 months ago, so I've been wanting to do this video for some time, and I hope you find value with it because it really shows, regardless who you're dealing with in the industry, and this transcends far beyond the overlanding and off-road community. This, I think, the assets, when you unpackage the lessons that is put into this video right here, this carries through with all other walks of life where we are knowing the people that we engage with, that we work with, and how important it is. And it's funny here, I have to throw myself underneath the bus. I had the opportunity to interview Hunter in a video which we presented as a Trucks and Coffee. He has this really cool van over there. And in the video, I accidentally called him or introduced him as the last name as Hansen. Now, my luck, as soon as I say Hansen on this video here, I'm probably going to screw up and call him that again. And I felt so bad. And Hunter, if you happen to see this video, my friend, I am so absolutely sorry. When I watched the video, after it was uploaded online, I realized that I called you Hansen. Hanner. Anyways, Hunter, thank you very much for the opportunity to interview you out there, and for that matter, the rest of the family here, and all of you that are watching this video here. Hope you found some value with this video. It's that time of the video where, of course, I'm going to ask you to do all the YouTube stuff because we greatly appreciate it. So if you found some value with this video, please consider hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and last but not least, therefore you don't miss a single video like the one that you just watched, and make sure you hit all notifications so when we come out with new videos, YouTube is going to do its whole notification thing and give you a heads up that that video is ready to watch. But friends, it's been an honor to have you here along with the journey out to Texas. Now, if you want to learn more about BTR Outfitters, friends, well, I probably have a link on the bottom of right below me right now with a link to over BTR Outfitters, so highly recommend either jumping on the phone with these guys or taking a look at their website, which I just saw was recently updated. It looks absolutely fantastic. So anyways, that's all I have here for you. So I'm going to be shutting off these cameras so you get out there, stay healthy, and find your adventure.